So I don't want to pat myself on the back too hard, but, we've talked about this on the show that I said if there's a time to start a progressive party or a movement in this country and get away from the neoliberal corporatist warmongering in bed with Wall Street working against the working man's agenda Democrats, this is the year to do it. And remember, 40% of Americans claim they're independent. If we voted independent, we would win. But you're so afraid. Well, here's a guy, here's Steve Schmidt, and I said, this is the year to do it because the Republican Party is crumbling under the weight of Trump. They are crumbling. Here's what Steve Schmidt says about it. Now, I don't know if you know who Steve Schmidt is. I'll tell you in a second. Well, anyway, he's a big Republican campaign manager, and here we go.
This candidacy, the magnitude of its disgrace to the country is almost impossible, I think, to articulate, but it has exposed the intellectual rot in the Republican Party. It has exposed at a massive level the hypocrisy, the modern-day money changers in the temple like Jerry Falwell Jr.
This is what the Trump candidacy has done to the Republican Party. This is the guy who brought you Sarah Palin. Yeah, this guy ran John McCain's campaign. He's the one who thrusted Sarah Palin on this country. And he's upset at Trump that he said, oh, but it's not Trump. It's Trump that just has exposed the parties. He's just, remember what he said? He said it's Trump who has exposed.
This candidacy, the magnitude of its disgrace to the country is almost impossible, I think, to articulate. But it has exposed the intellectual rot in the Republican Party.
I've been saying, I hurt my arm patting myself on the back.
It has exposed at a massive level the hypocrisy, the modern-day money changers in the temple like Jerry Falwell Jr. And so this party, to go forward and to represent a conservative vision for America, has great soul-searching to do. And what we've seen, and the danger for all of these candidates, is over the course of the last year, these candidates who have repeatedly put their party ahead of their country, denying what is so obviously clear to...
The guy who gave us Sarah Palin just is wagging his finger at Republicans who have put party over country. Something that is clear to everyone. Sarah Palin was clear to everyone, Steve.
Anybody who's watching about his complete and total manifest unfitness for this office.
Just like Sarah Palin, who was a heartbeat away. A heartbeat away. So there you go. It's funny. Even he's trying to distance himself from the rot inside the Republican Party, the rot that he cheered on, that he engineered, that he brought to us, that he was so willing to ride if it brought him power. But now that it's not bringing him power, I guess he has the intellectual freedom. Now he has the freedom to say it. You know this thing we've been doing? I've been a part of? It's horrible. And Trump is actually revealing how horrible we all are. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of revealing that the Republican Party is kind of, I don't know, a bullshit party that's lost its way. And you're a big part of it. Don't try to, it's funny to watch these guys like him try to distance himself from it. Just because you're on MSNBC doesn't mean you weren't part of you didn't thrust Sarah Palin on the American. Didn't you did that?
Didn't Josh Barrow just jump ship from Republican
now
and became a Democrat?
Josh
suddenly?
Barrow.
His turning point was last week.
Last week it took him that long. He's a forward thinker.
And you know, Jimmy, it's troubling to think that these people are leaving the Republican Party
and coming into my
to the
party.
Democratic Party.
Right.
So what does that say about what is appealing about the Democrats?
Now they feel comfortable in the
conservatives.
Right. Well, because Hillary Clinton does everything they want. She deregulates Wall Street. She ramps up war. She's anti-worker. She's pro-TPP. She's for the pipeline. The whole deal. Steve Schmidt. Here's one more. Here's Nicole Wallace. Here's what she says about the Republican Party and what Trump's... So my whole point in keep doing this is that we were right at the Jimmy Dore show. and that all the other fear-brained, mush-brained liberals, they're not, who said that I was crazy are wrong. They're just manifestly wrong. 100% wrong. All of them. And that if you want to do something, and by the way, pledging your vote to a candidate months before the election is the worst way to influence them. Could there be a worse way to influence somebody? Pledge your vote to them and then say, I want to get you to do. They're just the jaw-dropping stupidity that comes out of these people's mouths who are voting for Hillary Clinton. I'm a dumb guy, and I can tell it. I can see that. I'm like, boof. Even I see how stupid that is. And guess who else does? Steve Schmidt and now Nicole Wallace. Here's what Nicole Wallace says about what Trump has done to the Republican Party.
When do we reach toxicity?
Oh, we are already there. We're choking on it. And, I think it's ludicrous that people are in this, almost like speed dating. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. This is not about the harm done to the Republican Party in 26 days. This is about the harm that will be wrought on the Republican Party, particularly among women voters. But I think this is far from a women's issue at this point. This is about someone who brags about being a sexual aggressor, now blaming all of the accusers of said sexual aggression. I think the damage and the stain on the GOP is potentially a generation long.
When do we...
A generation long. The stain on the party with women. A generation long. She's saying that's how bad it's damaging the Republican Party. Like, this guy's a gift to the left. Donald Trump is a gift. He's a gift to all of America in a sense, because when he says horrible things, it's easy to stand up against it. But when Barack Obama says, hey, we're going to repeal habeas corpus, he says it in all the pretty liberal language and nobody does anything about it. And now we're living in a sham democracy.
Well, he got the Nobel Peace Prize,
He got
Jimmy.
the Nobel Peace Prize. This latest round of bombing in Yemen is being brought to you by Nobel Peace Prize winner Barack Obama. We're now bombing in 8 different Muslim countries. Congratulations. Peace. It really goes boom. So here we are again, right again. That when Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's donors, when their donors call the cops in North Dakota and say, go crack the heads of peaceful protesters, which they're doing, and arrest journalists, they do it. If Trump was president, it would be so much easier to stand up against that. It would be so much easier to stand up against all the nefarious stuff that the Democrats are doing. Just like NAFTA. George Herbert Walker Bush couldn't get NAFTA through Congress. It took a Democrat to get through Congress. It took a Democrat to gut welfare. It took a Democrat to deregulate telecommunications, and that's why we only have 6 companies bringing you all the news. That's why it took a Democrat to gut welfare. It took a Democrat to deregulate Wall Street. It took a Democrat. It takes a Democrat to do this stuff. There's a Democrat right now pushing the TPP. The President Barack Obama. So again, fearful, shitting their pants lefties are taking the bait, and they're voting for a corporatist warmonger in Hillary Clinton because they're afraid to vote their conscience and vote for somebody who is actually progressive, Jill Stein. I'm going to say it. Chris Hedges said that the only thing the Democrats have to offer you is fear. And once you stop being afraid, that's when they start being afraid.